Welcome to Ladies of Another View on Beck. It is Friday. Woo! This week, I don't know if it's gone fast or slow. It's like some parts of it, it's like, oh my gosh, will it ever end? And the other part is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's Friday already.
Right.
I'm just kind of stuck in that. And maybe it goes hour by hour if I'm excited or not. I don't know.
It was a full week for me too. So yeah. I love that sense of accomplishment on those full weeks, but at the same time, it's just like keeps going. It's to the end, you're just tired. I'm getting to the point where I'm probably just gonna like sleep.
Yeah, and I saw you got a new rig out front.
I did.
Oh my gosh, that's yours.
Yes.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's
I'm
beautiful.
slightly jealous. I thought it was yours, Mary, honestly.
No.
I was like, oh, Mary got a new car.
We
It
don't
could have
buy
been a
that
Mary
brand.
car. It could have been a Mary car.
No, I think the energy in the studio is really good today. I think we're gonna have a really good show because we're pumped up and we're like, oh yeah, let's have some fun.
Yeah, exactly. And Friday is the day, and I'm with you, Mary. I'm like all week long, and you, and I'm sure you've had one too, and you're just not
no.
saying. Oh no,
No.
you've just been laid back all week.
yeah.
All right, I got it. Yeah. Anyway.
We know differently.
Yes. Yep. But it's great weather, and it's just a great time to be alive. So glad we're all here.
Absolutely.
You're
You know,
here.
absolutely. Did you guys watch the Washburn show?
Yes.
Yes.
So good.
Absolutely. It was fun. But
gosh.
this last week, Wednesday, I went out to Killdeer to try to find some interviews for that. They just keep getting better, you guys.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's just going to be so exciting. I'm so looking forward to the hometown shows. And if you guys have a hometown that you want to nominate, just go ahead, email us. Let us know. Just log on to beck.news or find our email and
Another view at becknews.com.
yes,
Yeah.
we can do it there too, or call us, do whatever you need to. But we would love to get your small town on and talk about it.
I'm kind of
yeah.
thinking, like, are you willing to travel, Mary? Like, outside the state, I want to nominate a town.
Well,
She's driving to Killdeer.
Do we get to
We're
stay
in
overnight?
Yes,
Can we?
you could.
well,
I'm
you
just
know,
teasing.
that's for future shows because
If it
maybe there's a
involves-
small
if it
town.
involves sleeping in an airport again, I'm not sure I'm
Oh
in.
my God.
I'm just saying.
That was a killer. That was a killer.
Yeah, that is the worst to sleep in an airport.
Oh, it was
the
like the
worst.
Shriners were
Dirty.
practicing their things with all these little garbage carts and floor moppers. Oh yeah, we were in the
Oh,
busiest part of
no.
the airport coming home from Dallas from the Roundup rally. It was
God and country.
yeah. Anyway, so but getting back to our first segment, so we wanted to talk a little bit about the Clint Hill interviews that went on this week. What a lovely, lovely man.
Yes.
The show was so full of interviews that we really didn't have time to talk about it. And I just think it's so important to pay tribute to people like this that are behind the scenes that you grow up around and you don't even know about them. And so I just thought it was just, you could just tell he had such a good heart and was such a good, strong man, just character. It just kind of came out of him.
And he's a powerful storyteller. And
Yes.
I loved that about that whole segment because it gave him an opportunity to tell that and for us to hear it. Because sometimes we get to know people, but we don't really get to know them and get to know their story. And we start putting them in big buckets because we don't know enough to really get to know them. And that was he had a great story. And I love hearing those stories from people. That's part of why we do the My Hometowns.
Right. You know, and did you notice during the show in the second segment, his dog came, when he was getting emotional, his dog came and sat down behind him. It just almost brought tears to my eyes because I knew that dog, it was like an emotional support dog where you could just tell that dog knew that he was having a tough time talking about it.
Yeah. You know, I have to say that was by far one of my most favorite shows that's been done here yet. That was so good. And I'm so grateful that you let him talk for so long because he had a story to tell. And two things that came to my mind out of that interview. The first is I'm so grateful for those who serve us. You know, we have our first responders, we have those who are protecting our leaders. They suffer because of what they put their lives in. You know, they're willing to put their lives on the line for us. And they do suffer a lot from PTSD. And so I'm so grateful. That came through loud and clear through that interview. The other was just the power of being willing to talk about the hard things that we've been through. You know, he really emphasized that the thing that helped him the most was when he started sharing it with other people. And so for me, I've thought about my own life, and there's so much pressure to like look perfect, be perfect, not to really be real sometimes. And I just thought, you know, there is power when we share with others our stories, our struggles, because it can actually help us heal. So it was just phenomenal, and I'm so grateful that he was willing and that you got him on. It was just powerful.
Well, and it started as my hometown, and that's where we were going. But he just kept talking, and we just let it flow, and rightfully so. But I lost my train of thought right now. I had a really good one.
But he took it to a new level. I mean, he took it to a whole different level as far as what happens when my hometown becomes my home world, and brings what comes from that hometown, those values, those morals, those how you take responsibility for yourself and for others, and you do because it's not because it entertains me, it's because it's what's right to help the community. And when you looked at how he served Jackie Kennedy and those kids, what he was willing to give, he said on his interview, you know, I did things that maybe weren't, and Mary said, in your job description. He said, yeah, you know, but just to be helpful, it wasn't breaking the law, I'm sure, but it was ways that you protect the people you care about, ways that you know, treat others, ways that you give respect, ways that you just be honest, caring, and kind. I think he brought that to the world stage. And when he talking about his story, so that, and to help heal others, you know, there's a song out that says, God takes what's meant for evil and turns it for good. And you know, the pain he went through for years and years, and when he goes to veterans and PTSD folks and shares with them, how powerful that is, and it becomes a good thing then, because when you share, what is that we're saying, when you share each other's pain, it cuts it in half. I mean, yeah, it's awesome. Just awesome.
So let's look, for those that didn't have a chance to watch the show, take a look at this video. This is Clint Hill jumping on the back of JFK's car the day he was assassinated. So that was Clint, and here's the video. And he was saying that Mrs. Kennedy was trying to grab some brain matter or skull from the back of the car. And it's like, and he just absolutely did everything to protect them, but he felt bad that he didn't protect the president. This was just something, you know, but it was out of his control. It was out of his control. But many people have asked me why I didn't ask more questions about the conspiracy theory. And it's like, you know what? He said he wrote his book, he put all the facts in it, and I'm going to accept that as the fact. Now, if there's conspiracy out there, he is not going in that direction. Anyone can think what they may and read any book that they want to read, but this was his story, this was his day, and I wasn't going to spoil it by asking those types of questions of him.
Right.
I just didn't think it was fair.
5 books, I can't believe. What an author.
Yeah,
Right?
totally.
To check him out.
So we do have his, if you want to get a hold of him, it is, I think it was Clint Hill. Do we have that? To purchase his book. Yeah, ClintHillSecretService.com. You can grab his books. And there's 5 of them. A couple of them are right here in Bismarck at Barnes & Noble. So anyway, we are so glad that we were able to touch him. And he touched all of us.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Deeply.
Really. So anyhow, coming up next, we're going to talk about summer camps. We're all summery, sitting here summery today, and it is summer out there. So that's coming up next on Ladies of Another View on Back.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
If you don't know what's going on in education in this country, then you don't know what's going to happen in the future of this country. And it's important. I'm Dr. Duke.
And I'm Katie.
Watch The Dr. Duke Show weekdays at 4 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county.
Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after hours oasis of sanity. How can these people not see that they're just clowns?
We help simplify and educate you on things going on in the legislature and around the country.
Asking the hard-hitting questions.
But also having flea stack and Sid and Marty Croft stuff, and we've talked about that sometimes. It's bad.
Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Pub 21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub 21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We're going to jump right into talking about summer camps. And Andrea has done a lot of research on this. You're the one that found the story, so take it away.
I was really surprised. So I actually got a hold of one of the summer camps here in North Dakota's summer wellness plan and how they intend to mitigate concerns around COVID-19 throughout their summer camp. And I, in reading it, was really shocked at what the plan was. So I did want to share with you what their plan is. So this is for Camp of the Cross up in north of Garrison. So you can see here, and I'll read a little bit of it. So they have become licensed and trained to be a COVID rapid testing site.
Wow.
So they will give any participants who agree to be tested and then test negative the ability to stay on site without wearing a mask throughout their stay at camp. So they don't have to break into little pods, and they don't have to be in specific groups and isolate in that way. But they have to do the testing in order to not have to wear masks and to not have those pod requirements. And they're requiring that of the campers and of the staff and of the volunteers.
So what's the age group of these campers?
So that is an excellent question. I would love to know. So it's Camp of the Cross Lutheran Ministries, and most summer camps, most stay-away camps are like middle school age. So that would probably be my best guess, would be middle school. But
I didn't know middle schoolers had such a high infection rate.
Well, see, there's exactly the problem. So, what do you think?
I didn't think middle schoolers really got it. I mean, I know there are a few cases out there, but for the most part, they're saying that they're not that contagious. They don't get sick. And so now we're going to go ahead and have someone just start sticking pokey things up our kids' noses without our permission.
Yeah.
Well, technically it is with permission because you know that they're going to be doing it. I'm shocked by this. I mean, seriously, okay, viruses are a part of our whole environment. Are we going to start testing for the flu, for strep? I mean, this is getting to be ridiculous. It's insane to me and overly frustrating slightly.
Well, they call it a summer wellness plan, but it's only about COVID.
Right, I know.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and knowing that the mask mandate was lifted, finally, and knowing that most of these kids, I'm guessing, if at all possible, maybe in the eastern part of the state, it hasn't always been possible, but I think the rest of the state, these kids have pretty much been on free range. I mean, just kind of doing their thing with no masks all summer so far. And now they're going to go in and, oh, we're back to that, really? if it's middle school age, I can imagine myself becoming a little bit unruly at that camp because, like, I haven't had to wear this thing for how long? Now I got to put it on again.
And mosquitoes and just. Have you been
Well,
in North Dakota in the summer?
So I want to say something else too, and I've talked about this before on the show. It is so troubling to me to think about the fact, and I've said it, like the churches are going to get behind these type of things.
Yeah.
And it is so concerning that they're the ones that are pushing this upon us. I mean, hello churches, stand up and do what's right. Like God gave us agency, let us choose. Like this is ridiculous.
Yes.
That it's the churches that are the ones that are pushing this type of what's the word? I don't even know. Just this programming towards our kids that is not normal at all.
Right. Well, and I kind of wonder if it isn't last year's idea that just took this long to come about. Like that's about the only realistic explanation that I could come up with. Like if last year you're trying to figure out how you're even going to have camp at all, and so your solution is to become a rapid testing site so that you can then have a solution for campers who you don't know if they're going to be able to get vaccinated or not, and they don't require vaccinations. That's not part of what they're doing, but that is an option to opt out. So then that was a reasonable alternative to no plan at all when everyone was going into lockdowns and maybe not even having camp. But this year camps are having camp. Right. So it just maybe took that long to set it up. That's about the only reasonable excuse I can think of.
So this is my own personal opinion with this. We all are aware of the risks.
Yeah.
So if you're going to send your child to a camp, like you do what you feel is best for your child, knowing that there could be risk that they're going to possibly get sick. And if they're sick, you don't send them to camp, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
That's what you are supposed to do as a responsible parent. So where have we lost our ability to be like, we can make our choices and we can be smart about these choices and do the right thing. I hate the fact that we're being treated like we're little children who need adults to monitor what we're doing as adults. I mean, let us live and be parents for our children. We know the risk. Let us make choices.
And like you said, Andrea, maybe it's a part of, you know, I'm seeing where there's like annual meetings for various businesses that they're still going to do them by remote Zoom this year in July. It's like, but I don't know how far in advance they have to plan them. If they had to set up their venue last year at this time, I can see doing that. If they had to make a deal with the camp personnel to have to do this, to have the camp this year instead of, I think last year, I'm guessing maybe they didn't even have it. If that was a deal they had to make to have it on site, then I get it if they had to line it up way in advance. But if that's not the case, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It just doesn't.
Unless they're receiving funding from the CARES Act or whatever it is that's giving you money because you're going to follow COVID.
Sure. They didn't have to work with the state in order to become an approved testing site.
They did.
Approved rapid testing site. I also wanted to share the requirements for drop-off for the parents when they bring their kids to camp. So that's the second page of their wellness plan. So they're instructed ahead of time that the parents are not able to tour or walk around the property or facilities. And if you want to visit the site before the camper's time, you have to schedule an appointment and they'll give you a guided tour in advance, not during camp. And then you're designated a specific time that's assigned to your camper to go through the registration process. And the parents and the campers with one parent, not both parents or guardian, will be allowed to move through just the testing and registration process. And throughout that registration process, up until the point at which the camper is tested, both have to wear a mask. So once they've been proven negative, the camper doesn't have to wear a mask at that point, but the parent and guardian still needs to wear a mask as they leave camp until they finish leaving camp.
Wow. But this virus escaped a biohazard facility, right?
Level 4.
Level 4.
Like they need like the full deal, right? And
so
we get a mask.
We get a mask.
Yeah, and the CDC also no longer recommends wet masks for the general population.
Well, and that's just it. So people, make up your mind. It's like, make a choice. There are other camps out there that aren't as stringent. So don't send your kid to a camp and pay money for your kid to go to a camp to be emotionally damaged by wearing a mask all summer. You know, just think about the heat rash and the sweating. You know, what kids do at camps. I mean, I just can't imagine. So parents, make a choice. Make a choice as to where you want to send your child. If they fall in line with what your beliefs are, send them there. And if they don't send them there.
I agree.
Yep.
Wow.
You also could call the location and just let them know how disappointed you are in what they're requiring, and tell them, you know, I would have sent my child there, but I'm not now. And maybe if enough people do that, they will rethink their policies and make a change.
Right. Right.
Absolutely. Well, I know that you have a lot more to talk about because we have 2 other campers or camps that we're going to talk about, and that doesn't even touch the barrel because there's camps all over the state. So
absolutely.
We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and talk more about summer camps right here on Ladies of Another View on Back.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hop in the rig and go down the road with me. We'll cover local and national stories that impact you. What happens with national debt? Does anybody even care anymore? Do you think Governor Berger truly understands the legislative process?
You know, I think he's got a better understanding now than he did 2 years ago.
Why in the world are we having a conversation about being anti-vaccination? Down the Road with Joel Heitkamp weekdays at 5:30 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car! How will we? The car! Your offer has been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing. But how will we? The closing!
Hey everybody, I'm Doug Billings, your host of The Right Side with Doug Billings on Beck News. We bring you high-profile guests, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive guests. Now, you're not going to see these guests in most of the mainstream media outlets. Another thing that I do here is give guests a platform to speak freely. You're not going to see me censor anybody. Please join us, won't you? Weeknights right here on Beck TV and online at beck.news. Cheers.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We were talking about vaccines and summer camps, and you also had information on additional camps that are kind of in the area or just not too far away. Why don't you tell us what happened when you contacted
Well, yeah,
them?
I took Kendi's advice and contacted more than just one. But honestly, you can reach out to the camps that you send your kids to and find out what their plans are. What are they doing in regard to either masking requirements or vaccination requirements for kids throughout at the summer camps that you're planning to send them to. So I reached out to a couple, one that my nieces and nephews are attending next week, so that's Crystal Springs and Medina, and they their plan is to do everything business as usual and just not have anything specifically planned for that. So, and that's fairly reflective of the people who are planning to go. So my sister-in-law was happy to hear that. So And then the other one was one that I attended when I was a camper back in middle school. It was a long time ago. Trails and Ranch, which is in Ekalaka, Montana, and they're an adventure camp with all kinds of activities. They have multiple sessions throughout the summer. And their plan is to continue with their old plan, which they have a pretty robust health plan that the kids are expected to monitor. You can't send your kid to camp if they've got measles, mumps, any of these kinds of things. Well, obviously, duh. So, like, right?
Wait a minute, common sense?
This is making smart decisions, right, really. And they're not planning on masking throughout the summer. And so that's their plan, is to use the tools that they already had in place to keep their campers healthy and safe, and to move forward with that plan. They're not doing anything different. They're not doing any kind of testing or requiring masks this season.
Or vaccines?
No, they have no requirements for vaccinations or masks or testing for campers coming to camp. So that's their current plan. I'm excited because it shows breadth.
Yes.
That there are options out there if you don't want to have to if you don't want your kids to go through that. And there's options in schooling too, but in camping, there's stay away camps, there's day camps, there's all kinds of different programs put on by various organizations, and they do offer a variety of options. So what kinds of experiences do you have from camp?
I love summer camp. I mean, honestly, when I was a young girl, when I look back, those are my best memories of growing up, is going to camp. And I mean, I still remember when I was 12 going to my first one, and there was a lake there with a swing rope, and we would go out and just, oh my gosh, I just had so much fun. And I learned a lot of really good things. I mean, even things that I use today, like how to tie knots, and if I ever was stuck somewhere, I know how to build an emergency shelter.
There you go. Did you learn that one on purpose?
No, it was required, actually.
Oh, no.
But do you remember today how to do that?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
I mean,
good
yeah.
for you.
And
I would have forgotten it.
Just, I mean, simple things like what to do if lightning is going to strike.
Yes.
I mean, very applicable skills that we should know how to use in case you're ever stuck in nature. But also just like the adventure side of things. I mean, I did rappelling and hiking, and it was just amazing. So I love summer camp. I think it's good for kids.
Awesome. That's awesome. You know, and I grew up on a farm and was quite isolated as
Every
a kid.
day was summer camp.
Well,
Right?
yeah, and we went barefoot most of the summer. So anyway, but so going to summer camp, I remember the first one that I remember anyway, I went with my big sister, and I was scared to death because I was going to be around kids I'd never met before. And in my little world, it was either your relatives or the people that you knew in your small town where you went to school, and the people that were in the farming community. And it was a Farmers Union camp, so you were going with Farmers Union kids. And so that was the thing that saved my bacon, because it's like, well, there'll be Farmers Union kids, I'll be okay, you know?
Yep.
And I remember learning about the plow, the rake, and the hoe. I get that part, but beyond that, I remember my fear. There was a lake. I was scared. I was scared I would drown if they made me go in there. I was scared of the dining hall because all these kids were in there, and I didn't know them, and what if they were mean, and what if. But I got through the fear because of camp, because in the dining hall, there were kids that were just nice to me, and they didn't even know me, and that was a new experience for me. It was a big deal. And it sounds so minute now, but it was a huge deal back then. And then my big sister, I thought she'd protect me, but she fell in love with the boy there.
Oh, no.
You know, I don't know what she was, maybe 7th grade, I don't know. So I found that his brother was there, so I tried to really like him so I could be like her, but it didn't work out well.
Oh, honey, that's awesome. Well, I only went to one camp, and I was actually older. I was probably 15, maybe 16. And it was a 4-H camp, but it was in Fargo. And so we did different things, more the older kid type stuff. And then there was, I remember ballroom dancing and cooking being 2 of them. But what's that guy's name that hammers like watermelons? Like,
Hammers watermelons.
Gallagher.
What's that?
Gallagher.
Gallagher was in Fargo. So that's when he was just getting started. And I'm pretty sure it was him. I mean, it was just,
okay.
I'm thinking it was him in my memory.
You have to explain hammering watermelons.
Oh, it's just, you sit, there's just a crowd of people there. He's got tarps and great big hammers, like big wooden hammers like this, and you just have a watermelon, and you just hit a watermelon, and it splashes over everybody.
Oh, fun.
That was my summer camp.
You know, my boys, we sent them to Boy Scout camp, and they used watermelon too, but what they would do is they would grease it, you know, they'd cover it in oil, and then they'd throw it out in a lake, and the different troops would compete to see who could catch that watermelon. It was called a greased pig contest.
Oh my gosh.
One of my boys actually won that contest. Like, he was able to get a hold of that watermelon, and he got it to the shore. The thing was, you had to get it to shore. So it's funny because you grab it, somebody else will come up behind you and get you, and whoop, it pops off. So yeah, I was super proud as the mom that my son could get the greased pig.
He earned his blue ribbon, right?
Oh my gosh.
And so that's actually a good activity if you guys have, like, just with friends over the weekend. If you're out camping, you got a big group of kids or family. I mean, it doesn't matter how old you are, but
heck yeah.
just do something like that instead of, because even nowadays kids are still on their electronics, even at the campsites. But just if you're out camping, for that would be a fun activity.
Go grease the watermelon.
Right?
Yeah.
There you go. Right? There you go. But I do have a son who is a Boy Scout camp counselor over in Minnesota. And so next week he gets to come all the way over to Hart Butte to be a camp counselor. And I said, well, can you drive and then stay for the 4th? And he said, no, Mom, I have to take the camper's van, and then he has to go back. So I don't know if they're going to let him stay home for a few days or not, because they do have a break. But anyway, he's a camp counselor, and he just absolutely loves it. It's his 3rd year. He's over in Minnesota with Boy Scouts.
Wonderful.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Nice.
Cool.
There's day camps. The Child Evangelism Fellowship does Camp Good News up in Washburn. There are lots of options. You can go down to
4-H.
Lutherans Outdoors. 4-H camp is up in Washburn also. So there's a couple up in Washburn. So
they have fantastic facilities in Washburn. We had part of that on the hometown show too, and just their facilities. Every cabin has been remodeled or rebuilt in the last 6 years, and they have these great big, like, cooking centers. I don't remember what the name of it is, but great big kind of auditorium type center right there at the campsite. So pretty cool. But one of my experiences, when I dropped my first child off for camp, that was a tough deal. When you drive away, and she'd never been to a camp before. And I don't know who cried harder, her or I. I never did it in front of her. I didn't. But I cried all the way, and then I went to Washburn. And this is kind of a touching story. I'm having a flashback. I stopped at Walmart, and I had those 4 little ones all in a row. And this lady, I was just sad. I just had tears. I'm trying to, like, be a big girl. I'm shopping, right? I'm a mom. You don't have to be so sensitive. Anyway, she goes, what's the matter? And I said, I dropped my oldest, my baby, off at summer camp, and I'm having a hard time. And it's like, she consoled me, and we have been good friends ever since. And it's been years. And so they travel around the country. They live in a motorhome in the summer, and they go to different campsites, and they take care of the parks or whatever. So they'll stay in a park for 3 months here, 3 months there. And when they come through Bismarck, they always make it a point to call. So I've seen them a couple times since way back then.
Love it.
So I just want to go back to, like, the whole segment 1. You know, when we're struggling, when we share that, like, it helps us. And you were helped in that moment. So, I mean, that's not what we're focusing on in this segment, but you brought it all together, Mary. You're perfect.
Yeah. Well, it's like, it takes people helping people, because we all have the same struggles, but yet on a different level. You know, and we've all felt that, whether it's the loneliness for the kids, or you feel bad for them, are they going to be okay? And they all survived. But anyway, enough about that.
That was good. You did a good job.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, you did great. So we have, coming up next, let me look, because it's, I know, we're going to talk about Juneteenth, because that was a national holiday that was named just yesterday. That's coming up next on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com. Hop in the rig and go down the road with me. We'll cover local and national stories that impact you. What happens with national debt? Does anybody even care anymore? Do you think Governor Berger truly understands the legislative process?
You know, I think he's got a better understanding now than he did 2 years ago.
Why in the world are we having a conversation about being anti-vaccination? Down the Road with Joel Heitkamp weekdays at 5:30 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Welcome back to Ladies Up, Another View on Beck. That was fun talking about summer camping.
Yes. Oh, yes.
You know, and you wanted to share. You did share a little bit on the halftime break here about, because you were a camp counselor.
I was a camp counselor, and the best part of that experience was realizing how normal I was, because I saw these campers go through so many of the emotions and experiences that I myself had felt when I was a camper. And at the time I thought, this is weird, this is hard, this isn't fun being homesick or all this other stuff. And then when I was a camp counselor, I realized that they all go through a little bit of that. And there's so much growth and so much opportunity. And there's so many things that I learned at summer camp. I rode my first horse. I learned how to shoot a bow. I learned how to cook and how to wash dishes properly.
Awesome.
And there's just so much.
Well, and it's so nice that when kids are there, you had that experience,
Yes.
so you know what they're going through. So, and it's great for the parents to know that you've been there, done that, and experienced it, and you can help their kids get through it.
Oh, absolutely. And so many camp counselors are camp counselors because they were campers first.
Right. So let's hop into a tougher subject. It's about Juneteenth. It's now a national holiday, and basically it's about celebrating the slavery freedom, or freedom of slavery. But I have a little clip that I want to show you first, just so everyone kind of knows what we're talking about. You've heard so many things on both sides of it, but take a listen to this, and I think you'll think differently.
In this Give Him 15, I want to commemorate Juneteenth, a new federal holiday, which is celebrated tomorrow, June 19th. Slavery officially ended in the United States with the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation by President Abraham Lincoln on January 1st, 1863. However, slaves in Texas didn't learn they were free until June 19th, 1865, more than 2.5 years later. This day became known as Juneteenth. It was initially only celebrated in Texas, but is now being recognized around the country. The ending of slavery and the celebration of Juneteenth are rooted and the power of intercession. Prayer changed our nation and led to revival and transformation. Slaves were often forbidden to pray, and if caught doing so, were sometimes beaten, he says. Nevertheless, many slaves, in spite of the danger and because of their love for Jesus, prayed anyway. My slave ancestors used a cast iron kettle pot as an acoustic means of concealing the sound of their voices. As I detail in my book, The Dream King, they would invert the pot, lay it on the ground, and prop it up with 3 or 4 rocks around the edges. Then they prostrated themselves on the ground and put their mouths to the opening between the ground and the kettle. Thus, it was used to muffle their voices as they prayed. This pot also became a reminder of the prayer bowls in heaven, where God collects our prayers. Years ago, Will says, I began to wonder if there were similar stories passed down in other African American families. So my curiosity led me to do research. Over the past 20 years, I've combed through thousands of slave narratives in the Library of Congress. I learned this testimony of secret prayer meetings wasn't just in my family's slave history, and neither was their method of concealing their prayers. I found hundreds of written examples from Christian African American slaves who used washpots, barrels, and kettles to muffle their voices as they prayed. Many accounts mentioned a secret code song was used to alert them of the secret prayer meetings at night. In other words, to let one another know we're going to have a prayer meeting tonight. The song was called Steal Away to Jesus. This is part of American history not taught in schools. Though recorded in our archives, these stories are only now being retold because of the research Will is doing. He is helping us understand our history is a spiritual one, not just one composed of secular events and decisions. It's a history grown also from the prayers of the saints. Without the fullness of our Christian heritage being known, godless men and women will try to reconstruct a history, leaving God out of the picture. This revisionist history leaves us soulless and divided, hopeless, and without a moral compass or purpose.
So that was Will Ford's letter, and he was reading part of Will Ford's letter, and then he made his own comments on it. But I just thought it was so prophetic because of what we're going through right now. Just there's so much racial tension and whatnot. There's so much religious tension. It's the devil, I think, is working. He's trying to separate us, and that's exactly what he was saying, is like there's spiritual warfare going on, and they want to take us away. According to his research, the blacks, when they were trying to get out of slavery, they would have secret church services, and they would bend the bows towards the location so that the other slaves could find it. And they would have wet blankets. They would put wet blankets up to muffle the sound of the prayers, and the kettles as well. So it would muffle the sound of their prayers, but they're very, very godly, and we're praying for freedom, and that's how they feel that they were freed. It was through prayer.
I'm thinking about the history of our country. There were many times where revivals were occurring, especially when our country was being founded. We can learn so much from them, and especially from this example. We're living in times where some of us, I'm really struggling with my words today, I apologize, but some of us may be feeling hopeless, but these stories can help us feel hope. I mean, was there deliverance right away? No. But the people banded together, and they made it through, and eventually they were delivered. And yes, we have challenges today, but if we focus on the bad, we will only see the bad. I'm a firm believer in that. So there's lots of good around us too. And even as we realize that things are not perfect, we can turn to a higher power, however, if it's God or however you identify that, we can be helped during these times. So I think I should be a preacher. I don't know.
Preach it, girl.
No, I need more oomph. But no, really, I mean, we have that help with us here today. The times are not different. We can turn to prayer, and we can learn from those people who went before us.
Absolutely. Well, and I think part of it too, it's like, it seems like everyone's down on America right now, and America is racist. There's been slavery for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. I'm glad that we're bringing awareness to everything, but I think we just need to slow the brakes a little bit. Carmen, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I don't even have to remember what I was about to say because that's the way my day is. But one of the things I did write down that he said was, you know, when we become divided and then we become soulless and without a compass. And it seems like to me that's kind of how America feels right now. Our compass is, I don't know if it's broken, but it's like that true north, just we can't seem to find it, you know? And I think part of, to me, this is just me, I'm not speaking for the rest of you, but when we took God out of our schools, when we took God out of our society, when we took him out of our conversation in the public square, things started to go downhill. I mean, historically, you can look at it, if there's any true history left out there, and you can just see it. It's so blatant. And so that moral compass that this land was built on, it's lost in the shuffle right now, and people are trying to figure it out. And prayer helps get that compass back. I really believe that.
Amen. That was really good. And if nothing else, it can bring peace into your
Correct.
own heart as you
Correct.
see things that are happening that are disturbing. You can have that inner peace. It can be provided to you.
Right.
Right on. Well, I know that was kind of a heavy subject, but there is going to be a national holiday, a federal holiday. I don't know what that's going to entail, but it's the first one since Martin Luther King Jr. Day in 1983. But coming up next, we are going to talk to Chad Berger with Chad Berger Bucking Bulls because the PBR is in town this weekend, so you're not going to want to miss it.
And it's not Pabst Blue Ribbon, just saying.
Just saying. Right after this on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Deciding how to promote your business can be hard. Visit the professionals at Dakota Promotions and Printing and let them help you through your struggle. Dakota Promotions provides promotional items and apparel from corporate gifts to team shirts and everything in between. With quick turnaround times and friendly service, they are your best choice. And best yet, you're shopping local. Visit them online at dakotapromo.com or stop in their showroom at 320 West Main in Mandan. Dakota Promotions, delivering promotions just for you.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to pull them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Hey Bucks fans, if you're planning an outing, birthday, or employee appreciation night, then bring your group out to the Buck Stop for a night of fast-paced, high-scoring football. Your group will receive discounted tickets, options for reserved seating, scoreboard messages, VIP services, swag, and a space to gather during the game. You can also participate in pre-game ceremonies, halftime entertainment, in-game contests, and more. Call 701-595-0771 or visit bismarckbucks.com/tickets. All GA is first come, first serve. We'll see you on the turf. Go Bucks!
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after-hours oasis of sanity. How can these people not see that they're just clowns?
We help simplify and educate you on things going on in the legislature and around the country.
Asking the hard-hitting questions.
But also having flea stack and Sid and Marty Croft stuff, and we've talked about that sometimes. It's bad.
Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, or as Trent Luce likes to say, ladies and a dude.
Ladies and a dude.
Yeah, there we
Ladies
go.
and a dude. Yeah, I'm definitely a dude.
Oh, we are
Good to
joined
know.
by Chad Berger of Chad Berger Bucking Bulls. Welcome to the show today. We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I understand that there's some PBR action going on this weekend.
We have bull riding tonight, tomorrow night at the Bismarck Event Center. We're got all the best bull riders in the world there. We got the reigning world champ, and he's also leading it for this year, Jose Vector Lemmy. And we got a $10,000 bounty on a bull tonight with him for a match. He's bucked off him twice and he's rode him once.
How many times have you ridden him?
I've never rode him.
Oh my gosh.
I used to ride bulls, but there's about 75 pounds of me that have never been on a bull.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. So what are some of the names coming in tonight?
Well, you got João Ricardo Vieira. He's the number 4 guy in the world. You got Jose, like I said, number 1 guy in the world. You got the reigning Rookie of the Year, Dalton Castle. All the guys you see on TV, basically, you're going to see tonight. Denner Barbosa, he's number 3 guy in the world. So we've got 3 of the top 4 guys in the world here in Bismarck, plus a lot of the others.
So not only do we have the top bulls, or excuse me, the top cowboys in the world, we also have some of the top bulls in the world.
Yeah, we have the reigning and 2-time world champion bucking bull, Smooth Operator, will be out tonight. A lot of another bull I called on Busted, that was the World Finals bull this year at the World Finals. He was the best bull there. And so, yeah, we got a lineup of the great athletes on both sides.
Awesome. Cool. So tell our viewers how they score. You know, how does a cowboy earn his points?
Well, first of all, there's 50 points for the bull, 50 points for the rider. It's scored 1 to 50. If you have a 46-point bull, say that's a really good bull, and the rider rides him perfect, he's going to score above him a little bit. And so then you're looking at 93 4-point score. Like the one Jose's getting on tonight, if he rides him, look for him to be 95 or 6 because he's that good a bull and Jose's that good a rider.
Wow. Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Are they all riding? Do they ride tonight and tomorrow, or how does
They
that
all
work?
ride for 2 nights, same riders. There'll be a long go and short go, so you'll get to see 60 bull rides each night. 61 actually tonight because of the match, and it's like I said, and we got a great entertainer, Flint Rasmussen. He's the entertainer for the PBR, and he's the greatest of all time. He fills in all the gaps and puts on a tremendous show for everybody. It's a great family-orientated show, and it's clean and no politics, no nothing. We just have a great event for the people. That's what they come for.
Right.
So PBR stands for Professional Bull
Riders.
Riding.
Yeah, it's
right?
it's like the NFL or the NBA of sports in the bull riding world. It's the top guys, the very best in the world, and we don't get that opportunity in Bismarck very often where we get the best athletes in the world in any sport. Right. So it's pretty neat to bring it to Bismarck. You know, I was born in Mandan. I'm a dying Mandan. This is my home and this is my state, and to bring it here, I always do everything I can to make it great because I only got one time to do it, and it's right now.
Right. How did you even get involved in this? Like, that is awesome.
There was an old guy in Carson, North Dakota named J.C. Stevenson that had bucking bulls in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and even into the early 70s. And my dad was partners with him in the cattle business. My dad always wanted to be a cowboy, and so me and my brother Fred started riding bulls when we were just little kids, and so we've been. And then my dad took over the bull business from John, and it just got to be a big deal for us, and so it's in my blood. Put it that way. I've been around it my entire life. From day one. That's all I remember is riding. I got pictures on horses when I didn't even know I was riding a horse yet.
That's awesome.
Right.
Awesome.
Well, and you do a lot in Las Vegas too.
Oh yeah,
with your
we
bulls.
take like I said, we're the 10-time and reigning stock contractors of the year. We've won it 10 times. So we bring more bulls to Vegas than anybody. And then we also have a PRCA rodeo card, so we take bulls to the NFR again in December, and bucking horses. So yeah, we spend a lot of time in Vegas.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so how many bulls tonight are yours? Are they all yours?
They're all my bulls.
They're all
Yep,
yours.
Yep.
Awesome.
We got, actually we need about 68 bulls to put this show on tonight, and they're all mine. So.
Wonderful.
So now, are there any babies from Yellow Jacket that are
Oh yeah,
part of
there's
your...
little Yellow Jacket descendants all over in my herd because we got the daughters out of him and stuff. And so yeah, there's a lot of my stuff goes back to my dad's breeding program. My dad started a breeding program when it wasn't cool.
Yeah,
When,
before it was cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we only have a couple minutes left, but a lot of people, our viewers are from all over the country. They watch us on live stream on computer. So tell our viewers who Yellow Jacket is.
Little Yellow Jacket
Little
was a
Yellow
three-time world champion bull in the PBR, 2002, 3, and 4. He was a reserve champion in 2001, and he was a reserve in 2005. So he almost won it 5 times. But he was a bull my dad raised, and his dad's name was Yellow Jacket, and he was a world champion bull. And so it's in the genetics.
That is so cool.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I think Carmen wore her yellow shirt in honor of Little Yellow Jacket.
You got it. You got it.
So how can a person get tickets? How
Well,
can we
you can
find
go on
it?
etix.com and get them on the internet or call them, and then or you can go right to the Civic Center box office right up to the showtime. They'll be there till 8:30 tonight, even after showtime.
And I think, aren't there some coupons for $5 off?
Yeah, you can
at
go to
Senex?
Senex, get a $5 off coupon for a general admission ticket.
Right. So great family fun and
It is. It really
bit of a
is.
discount.
And like I said, we set it up that way. My business is family ran, and I like to have family, family things that people can go see.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we
You
have.
help-
Oh,
Go
I
ahead.
was going to say we simply ran out of time, and
Oh, that sucks.
I know, we're coming though.
Is that right to say that?
well, it is now.
Yeah.
But no, we appreciate you coming up because it is such a great
Yeah.
sport. And when you talk about athletes, it's athletes on
Yeah.
both ends. It's the
Yeah.
animal and the cowboy.
And it's a great thing for North Dakota and a great thing for our community.
Yeah.
Literally, we have people from every state in the union coming.
Okay.
Maine, I mean, people
Got it.
stopped at my house from Maine the other day. And
You're
All right,
awesome.
Chad,
Thank
we're going to
you.
have to run, but
Awesome.
thanks for joining
I
us
don't
today
wanna
right
leave yet.
here. You can't. We have to leave. You're out of
Come
here.
see him tonight.
We'll see you next time on Ladies of Another View on Back.